su ko defee mbokk ñu ngi leen di nuyu beneen yoon fii ci Africa TV ñëwaat mbégte del suwaatee ci suba si la comme niñ koy defee saa su ne bu waxtu bi jotee mbégte lay doon saa su ne ñu jàkkaarloo ak yéen ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci jotaay ji fu ngeen mënta nekk nag ci biir réew mi ba ci biti réew ñu ngi leen di jaajëfal bu baax xam ngeen ne Easter Monday la su ko defee fii ci réew mi bésu noppaleku la ci ñu bëri surtout ñuy liggéey su ko defee ñu ngi ndokkale ñëpp tamit ñu nga xamante ne ñu ngi ànd ak ñun jamono ji nekk ci kër yi wala sax nekk ci waaw fu ngeen mënta nekk daal surtout ci biir réew mi xam naa ci kër yi lay doon ñu ngeen ànd ak ñun ñu ngi leen di nuyu di leen ziar bu baax di leen jaajëfal tamit ci safo bi ak ci kóolute bi. Well, viewers, once again welcome to the week's premiere edition of the Good Morning Africa right here on Africa, of course, TV, and it's Monday, the 4th or the 5th, I should say, of April 2021 is Easter Monday, and of course it's a public holiday in the Gambia, and of course those that are watching at home or wherever you might be right now, we say thank you for joining us, and whilst you enjoy your day off, we will take you through in what will be another very interesting and informative edition of the program that you always followed at this time of the morning. It's 9 o'clock from our studios in Banjul, and thank you for coming on. And today we would be talking about, of course, we start with the presidency because President Barrow was scheduled to travel to Dubai, but yeah, that trip has been cancelled. We'll tell you maybe what is the reason, if there's anything, but there's a statement from State House with regards to that. We'll of course give you more details of that. We'll also report on some very other interesting matters later on in the program that would include, of course, we would talk about some exercises that was conducted by a political party over the weekend. We would reflect on that. That is, of course, a big clenching exercise. That and more coming on in today's edition because, yeah, it's Monday, so it's the beginning of the week. And once again, thank you for joining us. And like I said, first, we would start with matters of the presidency because the State House in Banjul called off the president's Dubai trip barely 3 hours before the scheduled departure on Saturday. Now, Adam Barrow was due to travel to the Persian Gulf Coast of the United Arab Emirates on a visit between the 3rd and 8th of April. The Gambian leader, who is observing his annual leave in his native village of Mankamankunda in the Upper River region, is expected to resume work on Tuesday. If there is any, or if there is any surprise around the Dubai trip, it wouldn't be necessary, be a cancellation aspect, but the initial intention to travel during his holiday in the first place. Now, the president had been invited by the private office of the vice president and prime minister of the United Arab Emirates, Marham bin Mohammed bin Rashid. No reason was given for the postponement of the trip, but had missed appearance to very important national events, including the funeral of the Inspector General of Police and the protest in the Combo Sanyang, all in the month of March. The president managed to confine his holidays activities within the Upper River region, having inspected the ongoing works of TWO major bridges in the area. The First Lady had also visited different schools in the central and Upper River regions where she handed water bottles to the school children as part of efforts to curb the spread of the coronavirus in the Gambia. So that is it. President Barrow finally is no more going to Dubai, and yeah, the trip has been cancelled. No reason has been advanced for the cancellation of course the trip to Dubai. Su ko defee rek comme ni ngeen ko gisee noonu ci report bi, President Barrow waroon na tukki comme ni nga ko déggee woon fan yi la, waaye dafa mel ni loolu mujjewta am ci nuñ ko waxee ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci report bi demut nag li tax demut waxuñ ko ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci report bi waaye xam naa ne du ñàkk ci kanam mun na am dana feeñ la moo tax président bi munta dem ci Dubai mu ci invitation bi nga xamante ne jotoon na foofu ci yenn si kilifa yi waaye nag tamit gëjoon nañ ko gis ci ndaje yu bari comme ni ngeen ko diggee ci report bi ci mel ni dëji IGP bi ñëwut tamit ak xew-xew yi xemoon saa yaa ngi yëpp dégguñ ko ci loolu nag taxoon na xëj na ñu bari jaaxle wala sax am ci li nga xamante ni ñu ko gisee wax ne la moo tax président adduwut ci wala gisuñ ko ci ndaje yooyu waaye bu fekkoon ne jamono ji mu ngi ci holiday mu ngi noppale ko foofu ci dëkkam di Mankamakunda buñ déggee ne dafa war a tukki amaana dina am ñi nga xamante nañ ko gisee leneen waaye finally tukki moomu sax dañ ko dal di daxalu ba ci kanam wala sax dañ ko dal di daxal waxaguñ ko ba ci kanam waaye lu ci mënta am mooy loolu amatut jamono ji gannaaw loolu nag ñu wéy wax ci leneen wax ci wàllum taxawaay police bi ak tamit li nga xamante ne mooy kaaraange ci biir réew mi ndax jàpp nañ loolu tamit lu am solo la jamono ji am na doxantu bi nga xamante ne door nañ ko fexe ñoxal wala boo saxal bu baax jàmm ci biir réew mi ci loolu am na yeneen xibaar yu bees yi nga xamante ne amal nañ ko ci fan yile now si loolu la ñëw dal di yegg si seet si taxawaay boobu naka la demee. We'll now move on report on security matters because the Gambia police has rounded up 96 people on the second day since the launch of the operation Zero Crime. Now, the enforcement targeted various criminal hideouts within the Greater Banjul and the West Coast region, according to the police media dispatch on Sunday. On the list of suspected criminals, 27 are non-Gambians whose arrests were in connection to several offenses, including going armed in public and possession of drugs. A day before, the police arrested more than 100 suspects, including 3 women in a joint security high-visibility patrols. Now, the police high command assured the public that the conduct of the security personnel was strictly within the confines of the law. All right, so that's another one there. Of course, the Gambia Police continues its latest initiated, crime control program in the Gambia. Of course, the police rounded up another 96 people after the first initial arrest of more than 100 people. That is 117 people were arrested in the first day, and the second day 96 people were arrested within around the Greater Banjul area, and of course in the West Coast region as well. So these are part of efforts to maintain peace and order in the country. It's the latest measure initiated by the Gambia police to go after people who are out to commit crimes in different ways, and to make sure that some of the things that the Gambian people or the public has been crying about would be minimized, if not totally, bring under been controlled. So that is quite very, very important. So as you can say, the police are definitely doing a very good job. We have to admit that this is what we need. People have to. There have to be total control and order in this country. Of recent, there has been a lot of security concern in this country, and I think that's why the police force felt the need to start operations of zero crime controlled in the country, and I think everybody would laud that effort and initiative. su ko defee rek mbokk yi comme ni ngeen ko gisee noonu ci report bi lii tamit mu nekk leneen lu am solo. xam ngeen ne fan yii yëpp ñu ngi doon wax affaire yi kaaraange ci réew mi yitteloon ñu bari ñi ci àddu di wax loolu tax na nag fi mu nekk nii ñi nga xamante ne ñoom ñooy yore kaaraange réew mi police bi bokk ci ñoom tamit dal di initier programme bu am solo mooy dañoo dal di wër am opération bi nga xamante ne dañ koy def pour fexe jàmm ji bu nga xamante ne ñu ngi ko dunda ci réew mi mu gën a sax mu nekk lu am solo. ci noonu ci njëlbeeni fan buñ génnee jàpp nañ ci nag ay nit lu ëpp téeméer nit ak fukk ak juróom-ñaari nit lañ dal di jàpp ci first day bi. si second day bi ñu dal di ci jàpp li nga xamante ne mooy 96 mooy ñeenti fukki nit ak juróom-benn nit lañ jàll di téye fu mu nekk nag ñooñu ñu ngi ci seen loxo ñoom su ko defee ñooñu yëpp dañ leen war a yóbbu ci kanami luwa doxal li nga xamante ne loolu moo war ñeneen ñi nga xamante ne tamit bokk nañ ci suñ njëkk a jàpp mooy ñetti jigéen bokk nañ ci bu ñu mujjee gis nañ ne ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñaar mooy 27 ci ñi nga xamante ne jàpp nañ la ñoom nekkuñ doomi réew mi soo yi yëpp ay mbir yi nga xamante ne yu lu mat a bàyyi xel la ci réew mi tax na nag ñi nga xamante ne mooy police yi ñu am taxawaay bu bees gis ne dañuy génn ci guddi wër réew mi wala fan li nga xamante ne mooy Greater Banjul area bi ba West Coast wàññi li nga xamante ne mooy crime rate bi ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci loolu moo nekk li nga xamante ne mooy taxawaay bi te foog naa ne ñëpp war nañ koo rafetlu ndax lii dafa nekk li am solo ndax yitteel na ñëpp su ko defee gannaaw loolu ba léegi ñu wéy wax ci leneen gannaaw buñ àddoo ci yëfi président bi wax tamit ci wàllum kaaraange réew mi ndax loolu tamit dafa am solo nañ wax ci leneen lu amati solo ci biir réew mi ci wàllu tut tànk yi jàngal leen wàllu technologie ak ay mel noonu ndax jamono moo ko laaj loolu tamit leneen la lu am solo. Now we'll move on to our next story and report on technology matters because the Hub Limited on Saturday held a robotic presentation of two groups of kids ranging from kids from 6 to 9 for the first group and the second group the age of 10 to 14. Now during the past 3 months, the Hub and the Robotics Hub venture into a partnership to train children in introduction to Scratch programming and programming concept. Robotics employs the use of analytics, engineering and technology in using programming concepts to make robots function. Fatma Kasim has more details of that in this report.
Robotic is the intersection of science, engineering, and technology that produces machines known as robots that are capable of replicating human actions. Birandon Degilen, co-founder of Hub, introduced the program to train children on the fundamentals of programming the building of robots and instructing them to operate under commands. She encouraged parents and guardians to allow their children to think out of the box and not to confine into academic theories.
What we always tend to miss in Gambia is that children learn in different ways, and children are gifted in different ways. But what we always try to do is keep them in a box. We're very rigid. You either study science, commerce, or arts. That's not the world we live in now. The world we live in is ruled by technology. Children have to explore and let them see what they enjoy and what makes them happy and what really tickles their fancy. And at the end of the day, if you allow them to be able to really try out new things, you'll realize that not everyone is made to sit in a university classroom. Some people are meant to actually to work on technology, but not necessarily have to have academic qualifications in the process.
Birandonde described the program as an introductive phase from where higher levels in the usage of technology will be introduced.
Because this is something that we're going to probably see more of as we keep rolling the program round and round. I would say allow the children to really explore when it comes to digital means and allow them to really understand how they can use technology, not only to WhatsApp or Instagram or do all those other things, Facebook, but to actually productively use the internet and technology to better their lives.
The Robotic Hub came into being after the Pan-African Robotic Competition, which featured the victory of the Gambian team in the tournament. The hub was then set up, beginning with summer classes on the basic concept of the technology for school-going children aspiring for higher education in artificial intelligence. For iAfrica News, I am Fatma Kasim.
All right. We are, of course, in a modern era of technology, and it's important that Robotic Hub present the young children to these modern technology matters so that they can be inspired and get used to such kind of engineering and of course scientific things. I think that is very, very important. Also, you have kids from 6 years to 9, and of course and of course 14 and all that. I think that's quite very, very important. You see what technology have done over the past couple of years. during the last 12 months or so. During the past year, to as we speak, we have seen technology have almost taken the world now by storm during the COVID-19 pandemic. It have all turned out to be technology work that have really played an integral or a significant role in what people now do during these hard times of COVID. And so having the kids been presented in such a very important, robotic and whatever it is, scientific matters and engineering and all that. I think that's inspiring, and the kids would be inspired. They would be committed. They would be, ready to get in, do more, and get into the scientific matters and other. So that's quite very important. I think this is the sector that we need to push more. We need to do a whole lot of things to make sure the kids, young people, are involved in technology. It's how the world is evolving nowadays, so we can't be lagging behind. So with Robotic Hub, I think it's doing a very good job, and I think this is worth commending, worth encouraging as well, and this is what we need in this country. It's hard time. We keep on breaking the barriers. We go beyond the borders and do what is just unimaginable. You go into the African countries, you see what they can do in technology, in science. It's just something else. I think that's what we need also in this country called the Gambia. It's high time we do more than we are doing right now. So we need to go higher than we are. I think that's quite important. Su ko defee comme ni ngeen ko gisee noonu images yaa ngi noonu lii mu nekk lu am solo waaw xam-xam technologie ak ay mbiram jamono ji ci fii la àdduna toll, fii la jamono toll. Gambia tamit nag dafa mel ni buggu cee des gannaaw te waruñ cee des gannaaw sax benn yoon. Moo tax ñi nga xamante ne mooy robotique mooy ay mbir yi nga xamante ne yu kéemaane la waaye tamit lu war a mun a am la. Science ak ay mbiram ñoom ñooy doxale ni jamono daal moo ko laaj. ñu dal nag yóbbu ci ay xale ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci programme bi pour ñu won leen ñu gën a ñu inspire leen ñoom tamit ñu gis ne lii lu mun a am la pour ñu bàyyi seen xel, ndax ndaw moom loo ko won rek ci xelam ci bu ko jàppee bu ko buggee rek jeex na. waaw loolu dafa am solo bu baax a baax ci réew mi tamit ñu dëkk ci fànn yu mel nii ci nu ñoo fexe ndaw yi surtout xale yi ñu farlu ci wàllum li nga xamante ne mu lu ñoo wax science ak ay technologie ak yu mel noonu dafa am solo ci réew. léegi nag gannaaw loolu ñu wéy ba léegi ñu fàttali rek ñu naa ngi ànd ak Good Morning Africa fii ci Africa TV ba léegi monde suba si la ñu continuer addu ci wàllum leneen lu am solo. xam nga taa yëpp surtout ci Gambie fii ñu ngi wax ñu ngi coow ñu bari ñu ngi ñaxtu am naxar ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci yenn price yi ñoo dund ci réew mi, surtout ci ni ñoo dundee. waaye yemut ci loolu, surtout ci wàllum li nga xamante ne mooy ciment. loolu tamit mu nekk leneen li nga xamante ne ñëpp ñoo ko fi doon ñëpp sa waaye ñu gën a bëri ci réew mi dañ ko aajo trop, dañ ko soxla, ndax tamit am na leneen li nga xamante ne lu moo def ci réew mi ci fànn yu yaatu, ci fànn yu am solo. waaye nag ci report bu ñu war a dugal si nii dafay wane na tamit yokkute bi nga xamante ne price ciment bi yokku na ko nekkul ci réew mi rek ba fi nga xamante ne sax ñu jàpp ne foofu lay jógee ko wala ci biti réew fi nga xamante ne ñoom tamit dañ koy soxla bu baax a baax foofu tamit price bi yokku na. fan lañ ci foofu fan la ak naka la su ko defee ñu ànd ak report bi laata ñu dellusiwaat ci loolu. We will move on to our next story now and of course talk on something different from technology, but also equally very important as well. Now, the cement price is rising following a push-up demand by major construction projects in China. According to major cement plants, the price of unpacked cement will increase by $4.5 per ton and $1.5 per ton for packaged cement as of March 2021. The cause of the hike in price is related to the starting of major projects in China. Industrial data has shown in February that more than 9,000 major projects had started across the country in a month-on-month surge of 65.8%. Towards the beginning of March, more major projects began in a concentrated manner, justifying the increment in demand. There are 18 cement plants listed on China's Asia market, and this doesn't seem to help the market situation at hand. So, for recent, as you can say, the yeah, the increment in price of cement prices has also gone up in China, and yeah, so it has been a big talk in town in recent days. People has been so much concern as to why we have seen a significant surge in cement prices in the country. So it's something that usually don't happen as it is right now. A bag of cement used to be 250, 260, 75 to 300 at most, but apparently we are talking about a bag of rice being pegged at 390, 80 to $400. So it has been a big concern in this country, but as you can see, it's also a concern in China, and this is as a result because of the demand has gone high because of so many projects that have been rolled out in China apparently. So the demand is absolutely huge. It's so high that what is needed is not enough for everybody, and in that regard, if the demand is high, of course we expect the price to go high. So even in China, this is just the situation at hand as we speak, not only in the Gambia. So I only hope that as much as the Chinese are in need of the cement, and they are doing their work, they are constructing more projects in China, and we hope that they would produce more cement also, not only China but other countries as well. Of course we are in a very difficult situation around the world, but so you can see the projects that they are building, and if this is happening in China, I mean, you may want to ask how about Gambia? What will be our situation? So we only hope the situation would be controlled, controlled very, very soon, so that some of the things that we are also witnessing in this side of the world would be eased, and people definitely complaining in the country, and people are really concerned as well as to how these things could happen. But you can see even in China, the demand is very high, and the price of cement has also increased to a certain level, probably, which is this is not usual, by the way. su ko defee comme ni ngeen ko gisee noonu ci report bi wax naa ko sànq rek ne coowal njëgi ciment bi ci réew mi bari na, waaye liñ ci bëgg a wax rek mooy dafa mel ni yëf yi nekkut Gambia rek, même ba China tamit gis ngeen li nga xamante ne ñoom tamit lu xibaar bu ci jógee ci taxawaay sampa yi ñoo def ay projects dafa yokku bu baax ba tax na nag ñoom tamit luñ soxla ci wàllum ciment sax doyul ci réew mi ci réew boobu, moo tax nag ñu wone ne li nga xamante ne mooy njëgi ciment ñoom sax yokku na ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci yokkute bi nga xamante ne daanaka dañ ko daan gis wala yombul ñu koo gis, waaye li ci munta am fu mu nekk ni daal yëf yi manqué na lool, ndax liñ soxla ci ciment doyul, te gis nañ reflect na ba fii, wala yëf yi ñëw na ba fii li nga xamante ne loolu mu xew China, ndax àdduna bi benn la, global world bi moom lu xew fenn rek ñeneen ñi tamit dañ koo gis, te xam ne jamono buñ nekk contexte bi dafa metti lool ci yëpp. su ko defee gannaaw loolu ñu wéy wax ci leneen, waxoon naa ko tamit ci ndorte bi, ñii di CA wala Citizen Alliance ñoom tamit defoon nañ li nga xamante ne mooy cleansing exercise ci weekend bi, su ko defee ñu seet yëf yi lan lañ ci mën a jàpp laata ñu dellusiwaat. We'll move on to our next story now and report on politics related activity, because the Citizen Alliance has on Saturday embarked on a beach cleansing exercise at the Lemon Creek Beach. The move, according to the flag bearer of the of course party, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, is meant to make the beach environmentally friendly and also contribute to national development. Amin Dao has more details of that in this report.
The beach cleansing exercise, according to party officials, is to contribute to national development and help boost the environmental sector. Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, the party leader of Citizen Alliance, said the attitude of dumping things everywhere needs to be changed.
That also we need to change. But government needs to step up, or the council, to employ young people. Imagine how long this beach is. If you employ each beach area 3-4 young people, they'll be going, at least you create employment. For me, that is what we are going to do, to make sure that the beach is all well taken care of. This is one of the most beautiful beaches in the African continent, but just look at how it is. Look at this. This is painful. It's sad. Look at this small pond, which should have been made very nice and neat and clean, so that people with benches around, so people can come and. But it's abandoned. The whole beach is erosion has destroyed this beach. It's dirty. It's not working, to be honest. So we need to really be serious about the environment.
Dr. Sise added that the cleansing exercise will not only be limited to beaches, but also in communities where it is much needed.
What the youth wing has done is to come up with an activity plan for the next, every quarter. So I've seen, when I went through it, I saw that there are lots of cleaning exercises. And I know they will not only do it on the beach, but also in communities as well, where it is needed. But these things are not easy. You need logistics, you need trucks, you need the support. So, for example, we are looking for big trucks to help us, but we couldn't, so we had to do with these small tricycles. So, yeah, but we'll engage in more cleaning exercises, especially in urban Gambia and in communities.
Ahmad Diba, the National Youth President of the party, revealed that this exercise is the beginning of implementing the strategic plan they have for the country.
Well, it's the beginning of the implementation of the strategic plan we have for the country, particularly the environment aspect. We're very much concerned about the environment. We're very much concerned about the health sector. We're very much concerned about the education sector. That is the very reason why we embark on a blood donation at Serekunda Hospital in Kanifing. And a week later, today, we decided to embark on a beach cleansing exercise to make sure our environment and our health sector, which are critical sectors of our country, as at least efforts are put in to make sure that they fit the purpose of serving the needs of the people despite all inadequacies.
According to Mr. Diba, they have engaged state institutions and partners that could help in the successful execution of this exercise, but received no positive response. The Gambia reportedly have good environmental laws, but the laws are not being implemented by the relevant authorities. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Amindao.
Very on Amindao, they are reporting as CA or Citizen Alliance conducted a beach cleansing exercise over the weekend, and you had the party's flag bearer, that is Dr. Ismaila Cisse, who's reflected the importance of making sure that our beaches are clean, the environment is also healthy, and he said this is one of the friendliest beaches in this country, but the environment doesn't look good and all that. So as also you heard from the report, it's also part of the programs of the party's program, that has the implementation of their party's program is to make sure that the environment would be friendly, and also the beaches would be very welcoming as well. So they have been out and about to make sure that they would held or conduct some cleansing exercise within the beach, and prior to that they have held other events as well. So this is Citizen Alliance, one of the newest formed political parties, and the country is hoping to partake in the upcoming presidential elections in December 4th, 2021. As we'll head to the elections, you can see political parties are becoming more active, in venturing into programs and activities that can attract attentions and all that. I think this is one of it for CA, and it's a wonder. It's a good gesture, to initiative as well for the party. And I think they were out there to make sure that they send a message. When they probably come in power, these are some of the things that they would do more, or they would venture more to make sure that everything would be okay. Su ko defee mbokk yi comme ni ngeen ko gisee ci report boobu, ñi nga xamante ne mooy Citizens Alliance di benn ci parti yi nga xamante ne ñu ngi ci réew mi taxaw ñu biñ ko taxawalee nag yàggul, waaye ki nga xamante ne moom moo war a jiite parti bi ci élection yi ñoo waajal di Dr. Ismaila Cisse ak ñeneen ci parti ñoom ñoo génnoon ci weekend bi dem ci benn ci bi ci pour gis ne daal foofu setal nañ ko, def fa setal bu am solo. ñu gis ne tamit loolu bokk na ci liy tax foofu mu nekk nekkin bu am solo, waaye tamit ñi nga xamante ne ñu ngi fay dem, bu ñu fa demee ñu gis ne li tax ñu dem fa mu ngi fa, dañ mën a feex am ci seen bopp wala gis ci seen bopp ci nekkin bi ak ci place bi. waaye comme ni nga ko doon waxee, mu ngi wane ay plate yi nga xamante ne seen nekkin ak ñu fa nekk daal doyoon na waar, moo tax ñu dem fa pour setal fa. loolu nag dafa baax ci réew, ndax seet moom ku ne moo ko soxla, te tamit parti bi nee na daal dina bokk ci yenn yi nga xamante ne taxawaay yi ñu nar a def bu fekkee ne dénk nañ leen réew mi. te xam ngeen ne ñu ngi ci waajtaay élection incha allah ci décembre, te ñoom fas nañ yéena samp nañ seen dënd pour bokk ci jingante yooyu bu ci yàlla ànde incha allah ñëpp ñu ngi ko waajal te di ko bàyyi xel jamono ji loolu moo gën a xew ci biir réew mi ci jamono yi ñoo wax ci wàllum politique ak ay mbiram. gannaaw loolu nag ñu wax ba léegi continuer ci jotaay bi wax ci leneen àddunañ ci yu bari ci programme bi mu dooree ci léegi wax nañ ci wàllum wér-gu-yaram wala sax ci wàllum kaaraangi réew mi wax nañ tamit ci wàllu li nga xamante ne mooy léegi set ak setal ci biir réew ndax loolu yëpp dafa am solo ak tamit technologie yooyu yëpp laal nañ ko waaye leneen li ñoo waxati léegi mooy wàllum suuf coowal suuf ci biir réew mi loolu tamit nekk na leneen li nga xamante ne ku ne xam na ne am na ñu bari ñi nga xamante ne daf leen yitteel ak tamit soxal leen bu baax ci réew te loolu bokk na li war a tax sa jàmm am ci réew ak yu mel noonu ndax coow suuf moom fu mu am rek loolu baaxul te tamit dafa nekk mbir mu sensitive ci réew am na jamono bu yàggul dañ fi jàllaloon benn xibaar ci boobu lañ bëgg a dellusiwaat bëgg a nag def ci taxaw seetlu ab tuut ñu def ci waxtaan seet mbir mi nu mu demee ak lan lañ ci mun a déggal gannaaw liñ leen bëgg a won ni am na yeneen yi nga xamante ne amaana ci biir waxtaan bi nañ ci feeñ ci taxawaay nguur gi ak kilifa lan lañ ci war a mun a sentu. Well, viewers, we will now report on land-related matters. As you know, land issues, land dispute, whatever. It has been a concern for many, if not all Gambians. Over the past couple of years, there has been a lot of land crisis matters. So it's high time, maybe we look into that. So we have, if you wait us, last week we ran a report on crisis or land conflict happening in Mahmoud. So we want to look at that and of course come back to the platform and discuss beyond what you will have from the report. And but first let's go with the report, because in the wake of unprecedented cases of land conflict across different parts of the country, residents of Mahmoud village are pursuing justice in what they claim is unlawful demolition of their compounds. The villagers filed a court case against 134 Bojan of Jambur who claim ownership of the land in dispute. Now Africa has been following development, and here is more details of that in this report.
It could be recalled in November 2020 when residents of the Mahmouda village of Kombo South district experienced a heavy rift between the police intervention unit that covered the demarcation of their lands under the instruction of Sirifo Bojang of Jambur. He had claimed ownership of the lands through the inheritance form of land tenure system from his ancestors. The demolition swept off at least 54 compounds, most of which were newly built, prompting the villagers to set up a committee in the aftermath of the incident to file a court case against the destructors. The committee, apart from defending residents' right to live on their properties, will seek justice in the destruction of major structure on which hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars were spent by the rural community. The Mahmouda Village Development Committee, Kayo Kande, confirmed the institution of a legal action on the land matters.
They were very angry, talking on the top of their voices. When I came, I said, now, what we're going to do is to follow the law. Sirifo followed the law and did this, whether wrongly or correct, but we also going to do the same thing. I told the next day what we were going to do, BDC, was to go around and record all the properties that were demolished. That's why we have record of every individual whose property was demolished. We have the record. And it amounted to 54 plots. Some are the fence, some are houses, some are fence, some are boats and demolished. We got record of everything. So following our series of meetings, a task force was formed, coordinating committee, where Jerry Barrow of Jambanjali was the chair. I am also an active member, almost deputized in Jerry in most of the meetings here. So we decided that we're going to take a lawyer to sue Silver Borough to court.
Thanks to this land dispute, villagers gather every 2 weeks to discuss ways and means of resolving the conflict. They have raised about $52,000, mainly from the contribution of the rural poor in pursuit of a legal remedy. One of the affected victims, Lamin Jata, who took iAfrica to a tour of the affected areas, explained what appears to be a contradiction between the Sheriff Division of the High Court and the physical planning on whether or not to demarcate the lands in question.
Banjun, head office of Banjun. So
when the demolition took place, we went to the governor's office to discuss the matter. From there, We went to fiscal planning in Banjul, but according to them, the Strip Division gave the orders for the demolition. We went further and visited the Strip Division, but they were unable to give us any logical reason on the matter. We all know the document issued to Sirifo Bojang was on the basis of a third-party right. We are the third-party right owners of the land and hence exempting us. However, they indiscriminately went ahead and destroyed all our buildings for nothing.
Kande said the villagers are so optimistic that the case will turn out in their favor, given the strong evidence at their disposal.
One, the judgment that Sirifo used to carry on the demolition, when we got access to that document, when we read the document, we feel that the content of the government shouldn't have warranted the Sirifo to carry on the demolition, because the third party mentioned should have not been a victim in that case. Two, we engaged different lawyers to read to study the document and communicate to us what is their understanding in the content. They reported similarly as we understood that yes, the right of the third party is protected in the judgment. So this judgment should have been a document, a tool that Sirifo should have used to carry out demolition of private properties in this community. So that is one evidence that we feel that we will be able to win the case.
Between 2018 and 2019, over 50 hotspots of land conflicts have been identified across the country, with some of the classes resulting into deaths, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. Some of the major reasons for this unwavering land disputes concerns the poor management of resources by the authorities or the influx of unscrupulous business enterprises in the names of real estate development. For Africa News, Sohna Tunkara.
All right, thank you very much, Sohna. They are reporting on the Mahmuda land crisis or dispute, whatever it has been. And of course, like I said earlier on, this is not something new in this country. It's not something new in this part of the part where this even also happened, that is in Mahmuda. And of course, as you heard from the report, we had so many things from the people that are affected. But in a bit to know or to hear some of the other issues that are not mentioned or are not highlighted in the report, I'm glad to say joining me is Sohna Tunkara, who was on the ground to talk to the very people who were affected. And so we want to extensively discuss on this matter because it's very important. Sohna, good morning and thank you for joining me.
Good morning and thank you so much for having me around. It's a pleasure being here and good morning Africa once again.
All right, good. It's good to have you. By the way, well, we're talking about very delicate and if not sensitive matter, land crisis. You were, of course, you went to Mahmuda. You have been closely interested and also monitoring of this development. You were forced there and you went back again to find out what has been the latest update of this situation. But tell us, how did all this thing started? We want to know from the beginning because we know of demolition of compound and all that. Tell us about that.
Well, Amadou, as it is mentioned earlier in the story, land conflict is a common problem in the Gambia. Absolutely. And it is leading to major calamities that we have seen recently since from 2018, 2019 and 2020. So Mahmuda case began in November 13, 2020, when the residents claimed that one Sirifo Bojang of Jambu came accompanied by the police intervention unit to have their newly built compounds, their fences demolished, which actually resulted to a heavy rift between the residents of Mahmuda and the police intervention unit. The youths came out to vent out their anger and they were burning tires everywhere, even trying to have a conflict with the police intervention unit. But unfortunately, due to the engagement and the involvement of the elders there, and the sheriff, the West Coast police commander also came in to at least calm the youth and negotiate ways forward on how to resolve the matter. Then everything went out smoothly and the protest did not feel or aggravate to a much more, to a much more serious thing. But overall, land conflict in the Gambia is becoming a major challenge.
Absolutely.
It's really becoming a major challenge because we've seen in 2020 alone, more than 50 rather hotspot places were demolished. Or they are in the verge of being demolished. Because we've seen in the case of Tujere where at least almost 100 compounds were on the verge of being demolished, and in Faratu as well, which resulted to the police and residents having a clash. And the same thing happened in Mahmuda. So that is basically what is happening currently in Mahmuda, and residents they are really seeking justice for what they claim was unlawful for the police intervention unit and the sheriff division for demolishing their lands.
Absolutely, and these are very, very serious matters, issues in land-related matters in this country. You talked about Faratu, Jambur, and other places, but then sticking to the Mahmuda issue here, or the ongoing problems in this Mahmuda issue. Now, tell us about how many people are affected, or do we know the number of compounds that were demolished or by the police or whatsoever, by Sirifo Sonko, who came in and said this land is his, and as he claims, but the people that are the residents of Jambura said no, it's ours. But before we get to that, we want to know the number of people that were affected. Do we know, and the number of compounds?
Yeah. From the report that was given to us by the VDC Koyo Kande, he mentioned that at least 54 compounds were demolished from their findings for now.
Okay.
But Shirifo intended to demolish more than those compounds, but because of their intervention, then 54 was recorded for now.
Okay. Now from then, because we're talking about 2020. When this thing initially first happened. Now, since then to now, what has happened? Because the affected people, the residents are seeking for justice. What have been the stand of the authorities in this matter?
So, you know, the protest happened on a Friday in 2020. So after the protest, when the police intervention unit came and their commander also came, he made negotiation with them that they should meet in Monday, in the next following Monday at his office. So from Lamin Jaita, who is also part of the affected victims whose compound was demolished, said they went to the office, negotiated with the police, and the police told them that they were not informed that Sirifo and other police intervention unit were coming to have their compounds demarcated or demolished. So from that, Lamin said they took up the matter to the fiscal planning. They went to fiscal planning. Fiscal planning told them that it was from the office of the sheriff division. They went there, and those people were, you know, there was a bit contradiction between the two authorities. They were pushing them from one end to another. So Lamin said they could not have anything sustainable or substantiated from those people. So they set up a committee where Koyo Kande and a doctor, I forgot his name, but there is a doctor there, and you have other residents as well, and vibrant youths. They set up a committee where in every 2 weeks they meet up to discuss ways forward on how to resolve and claim justice for what they claim as the unlawful demolition of their compounds. And Amadou, to my surprise, when they hired a lawyer, the lawyer charged them 270,000, but because no one of them can afford it individually. So as a committee, because if you look at the area, like the people living there, it's so unfortunate that not come. How do I put it? Look, I'm debating it all of
you don't mind. This is GMA. You can just bahas things if you don't mind.
So you have low-income earners in most of those areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they come up when they form the committee. Every 2 weeks, each and everyone is expected to pay $500
as a means of contributing
so that they can come up with the 270,000 amount of money to be paid to the lawyer. So for now, they have contributed $54,500 for now. So the remaining balance will come during their subsequent meetings as well, so that they can top it up and have the actual amount to pay the lawyer.
Well, that's interesting, and it seems they are not relenting on their efforts to make sure that justice will be served, and I think that's quite very important. And they have filed a case against Sirifo, right?
Yeah, they have.
So they are now putting up their efforts to make sure that they would be able to hire a lawyer who would stand for their case. And so that's the situation we are. So how are they feeling right now? Do they feel neglected by the government or by authorities or by any people that could have stand for them? Because like you said, just even hiring a lawyer is a problem apparently.
For such people.
Yeah, they might be feeling more frustrated now than even before. Was there any that sense of feeling when you speak to them of recent?
Well, Amadou, there was most of the old folks that were there. Even if they want to express their feeling, they tend to feel so emotional that I have to calm them down. They will even sometimes try to go violent. That why is Sirifo doing this? Is he trying to use his influence as someone who is at least better off at their detriment or what? And the most funniest part is, most of them don't even know who Sirifo is.
Yeah, and in fact, I was going to ask you, Sirifo from Jambur and to Mahmuda. Somebody might be confused how this thing could happen.
Exactly.
But this land inheritance issues and all that probably might also play a part. You can just understand sometimes.
It's a bit so complicated, because the demarcation does not just only stop at Mahmuda. Even Jambur was inclusive in the document that Sirifo claimed to have obtained from the Sheriff Division through the authorization of physical planning. But in that document, according to Koyo Kande and also Lamin Jate, who are victims of the demarcation, they said the document mentioned third property ownership, meaning it is exempting them, because from there, from what they said, Sirifo traveled and Sirifo's brothers sold the land to someone else, and from those people, they also got that land from the second party owners. So meaning they are third party owners of those property, exempting them from the verdict that was given to the court, from what Sirifo said, that he got that verdict from the Sheriff Division through the authorization of physical planning to have those places demarcated. But Koyo Kande said that document, they went through it and they consulted some legal practitioners as well. The document revealed that the land should be confiscated only from second party right owners, not third party right owners. And these Mahmuda residents, the current residents there who bought those land from the second party right owners, should be exempted. But Sirifo went ahead and have all their properties demarcated. And they felt really bad about that.
Yeah, indeed. They would feel, because already have started building their compounds and hoping that anytime soon they should be living there.
Yeah, you have a lot of new compounds that are they are built already.
Yeah, that's quite something. Just on a final note, is there anything that have maybe Sirifo or anybody else have started doing in that area that has been demolished, or things are still as it was when it was initially bundled down or whatever? What is the situation, environment like, or is it as we are saying right on the images here? This is the situation.
No. You have some people who've started rebuilding their compounds right now, but yet some are still not, or some have not started anything yet. They want to wait for the final verdict of the court to be sure before they start anything else, so that they can avoid
reoccurrence. Some people have started.
Some people have started building their compounds actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So we tried contacting Sirifo, but to no avail, because we have no contact detail of him. We have no description of him or where he lives. Actually, it's just the hearsay that we get from the residents of Mahmuda for now. But it's a follow-up story. We are not going to relent on it. We will try to make new developments and see what unfolds.
Yeah, probably this is an opportunity for Sirifo or anyone who knows him to get us to contact or let us. We want to hear from him, and if we know where his whereabouts, we wouldn't hesitate to contact him also to hear his own side of the story. I think that's quite very important. And as much as we want to keep following, as she says, she has been very much closely keeping on her eyes on this development, and she is not ready to get back to this. And so yeah, thank you very much for coming, and I hope you keep following the development.
It's a pleasure.
You keep tracking as well, and it's important that we show, things like this are being followed and been discussed as well.
Exactly.
And one thing also, the issue of land issues, I think the authorities, the government in particular, or the Ministry of Lands need to do something about this. We all know land issues are very sensitive issues and are very serious. Sometimes it could instigate serious, things in a country, and we wouldn't want that to happen in this country. So, what's your final note? And
well, my final note will go to the authorities and to real estate dealers as well. The government should put in firm measures in order to avoid such calamities of land disputes in the country.
Indeed.
Because in 2018 to 2019 alone, at least 4 people lost their lives due to the land conflicts that happened, and there have been destructions as well. Because normally these protesters will burn tires on the high road, and it is deteriorating the state of our heavily baked roads.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if they put on firm measures to make sure that such things do not occur, and the people responsible for land authorization and issuance of documents to land should be more vigilant on whom they give lands to and follow the due processes involved. And also land dealers that at least sometimes they will be selling one land to 1,000 people, resulting to most of these major challenges as well. Land dispute is happening in this country.
I was speaking to somebody, not cutting you, just a few days ago, and the person was telling me, Amadou, ñun fi if legi am kër Gambia is a problem. He's outside. Munema, the government should help us and make sure that they regularize these things. And I could also remember rounding up his Meet the People store, one of the meetings he held in Banjul was highlighted by one of the people who traveled from Europe to Gambia to take part in that. And he told the minister to look in that, in this, because even some of these Gambian, who are in the diaspora, sometimes they would be worried. There are concerns that how can we get land back home because of this land issues, as you said. Thanks for coming, and we hope to get you some other time.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here, and I'll be willing to come back and give you more development.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, there's Sona Tunkara there, and of course that would eventually bring this Good Morning Africa edition to an end for today. And of course, thank you very much also for being there. I hope you have been at least informed and makes your morning which more good as well as you at home enjoying your day of holiday due to the Easter Monday in the Gambia. If you are somewhere around the world, once again, wherever you might be, we say thank you very much as ever, as always, for the pleasure of your company. This is all how much we got time for today, and we'll be back tomorrow, inshallah, God willing, for the Tuesday's edition of the same program right here on Africa TV. But until we meet again, thank you very much for watching, and do have a very splendid afternoon or day. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Gambia may be the smallest country in Africa, but it will host the second largest gathering of world leaders in 2022. To successfully host the OIC Summit and put the Gambia on the global stage, the government of the Gambia set up OIC Gambia to mobilize resources for the implementation of key development and infrastructure projects on a scale never seen before. 20 new roads will be constructed across the country, and the Bertel Harding Highway will be expanded into a dual carriage highway of 2 lanes on each side from the airport to Sting Corner. All people in the Gambia deserve clean water and a constant flow of electricity. Therefore, an entirely new water system will be constructed, including new transmission and distribution networks to meet the increasing demand. In order to provide a more reliable supply of electricity, the OIC Gambia project will replace and double the capacity of the NAWEC transformers and overhead electric cables. We will equip the police with modern apparatus and technical training in an effort to keep the streets of the Gambia safe. By building the largest international conference center in the region, a 5-star hotel with state-of-the-art facilities, first-class mobility services, and improving the VVIP experience at the Banjul International Airport, OIC Gambia will position the Gambia as the leading conference destination in West Africa. With our partners in the tourism sector, we will reinforce the preeminent position of our nation, the Smiling Coast, as a go-to destination. The OIC Gambia will create strategic partnerships that calls for the involvement of local talent and businesses as a matter of requirement. In short, OIC Gambia projects will create jobs, boost commerce, accelerate growth, improve the urban outlook and lifestyles of many families across the Gambia. So let's support the OIC Gambia as it prepares us for one of the biggest global events. OIC Gambia, building today for a better tomorrow.
Wakawel mu campagne leti Africa tiliji ka fonninkel tanka mantoro la aninke sementi yandi pour ila sama kamala foybe banko le kan waram banko e bantala wakawel nim fonninkel ani jama mol le ka doku ke ka kibaro ni yamaro dada e ka min fintindi television kono raji bungol to online platform ani sate cinema alto jamala nyaton ka yakoto wakawel ka molu londi taransila koyringola tamo kata bantala bankol kan anin bunda kotengol ning isulata foka karan non doku nyino anin julaya Gambia banko kan woto fo ika haji jara bundalu le nyini nga foko itamu moleti min lafita londe lukaringola IT warang management fo yalo nako karandinkiral be Gambia banko kanne minul boko Suna Institute of Science and Technology Kamsi Technology Inside Training Center anin Sibek College dameng ika information anin management karandi ise ku jamalon no management ani information technology la fannato niye munafan computer la ani jamani la banjoran kotangol tumando bato ika haji jara bundal le nyini façon design waran karalo bundato karandinkiral be Gambia banko kanne minul buko SNS Institute of Creative Design ye bundal soto funding keliye minu mo façon design alti anin karallal minul nene ma karan dot waran ka certificate o soto Nabota IT management façon design anin karalo waka walla website toto ibe kibar senengo soto la bundal minul be caring agriculture plumbing construction anin mechi kotangol to ni mu plombaleti mi hamo soto ka plumbing jorangol doku kordalo kono warang imu masongoleti mi hamo soto bumplano anin bullo kuolto karandinkiral be Gambia banko kanne minul buko Inside Training Center dameng ise demano foy bula ila lafinna kuwol no kan hani sayam bunda kotongol agriculture la fannato Gambia College ka karandiro kele min se demano fo ifana yebulo dundi agriculture kono wakawel.info/Gambia fanan katandiro kele bunda kotongol la moliye mini ya hamo soto ka dun ketrin doku kono kafumo jama kotongol la minul ye munafang karangola ka bo karandinkiral minul buko Mari Bennett Skills Training Center nin kamala kabula ila la finna kuwol no kan anin kallo molla sulol la domor kendo anin min fengolu kabo bendulalto anin hotelol bulu ni sulata yamaro la ila karango bandinkola nyin karambungol minul wati ibe loring ila karandingol la nyato tala be tenten na leke yamar wokono ibe doko nyini la nyamen ani ni bitala interview dula molu minu ka bunda kotongol nyini bantala bankol kan anin ka tamasila koyringota wakawel be kibar senengol dilela e nyanta bulala taransila koyringol minul nokan ni tambita ni wakawel.info/Gambia la ibe kibar senengol soto la passport nyini nya silol fankanta kaito ni bita la visa nyinola wokono travel health insurance plane ticket o sanya ise jiano hotelol minto bank statement anin ku kotengol wakawel.info/Gambia ibe kibar senengol fanan soto la ikata banko min na visa nyini fo jorolom anin jelulom ibe telephone number website ol anin address ol fanan di lallale foyto be kafuru molle kono min ya mira ko ni manta bakwe ite barakalla no buray imuna fang wakawel.info/Gambia ise kuko yo soto inyanta bulala taransila koyringol minul no kan ni lafita katama kata bantala bankol kan warang isulata de marola karango doku soto anin julaya Gambia banko
They say we slept in one world and woke up in another. This global tragedy got humans together despite our social distancing. Our nature is taking a break. And giving us a wake-up call on what and who truly matters. Look around you. Hold on. Breathe. Count your blessings. Take time for self-renewal, for a better start tomorrow. Soon, life will be back. Meanwhile, let's stand apart together with one heart.
I want Nawe to explain to the people of Bunju.
Official. Nit ñi ñu ngi liggéeyee yéen waaye tamit métti na soo sa bonus bi nga am only 2 weeks moom la ñoo jël ñu yóbbu ko